and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Podcast. And today we are excited that we have now released season 2 of the 123s with ByrdAdatto. And on season 2, episode 1, we have our good friend Jeff Segal joining us. And Jeff, episode is called Patience, Practice Lifeblood or Practice Threat. So if you have not listened to it, you can stop this video right now and go listen to the episode, or you can kind of jump in and hear some behind the scenes as we were getting ready to make it. And Michael, what are some of the takeaways or fun takeaway that you had when we were recording this podcast?
Well, Jeff of the ByrdAdatto Partners probably has the most interesting story. Hey, he's a doctor, so he's always got that over us.
Yes, he does.
But he has an awesome story, and for any of you who haven't heard it before, I've heard it now several times, and I can never get enough. Jeff's a great storyteller, and I really just enjoyed kind of in the podcast setting, living that and talking through it in context to the whole theme of this season, which is thinking outside the box. There's probably no better embodiment of a person to launch that theme than our partner, Jeff.
So thanks. I mean, I often am asked, how did a doctor, in particular a neurosurgeon, become an attorney? And it wasn't a straight path. It wasn't as if I woke up one morning and said, you know what, check the box, neurosurgeon, okay, next, attorney, next. No, that's not what happened. What happened is that life took me on multiple pathways. You got to hear the podcast to see how that played out. I'm pretty sure we talked about it at least a bit on the podcast, but I think the take-home message is that even though you think you're moving in a particular trajectory in life, life will always throw something in your path. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to react to it in a positive way or not? And that's the take-home point. You got to listen to the podcast, though.
Yeah, and that's what I love about your story. I mean, I've been blessed to hear it several different times, and each time it still impacts me, as Michael said, because it's such a powerful story. And as Michael alluded to, you're a great storyteller, but it's still a really good story. And I love the fact that you're going to be part of our season 2, because it really is stories about individuals that something happened as you just described, and you have choices as to handle it. And that's the whole reason why you're helping us kick off season 2 about thinking outside the box. And that's why we're so grateful that you were able to join us.
I mean, you can't choose what life will throw in your direction. I wish we could. You can't. But you can choose the reaction that you have. And I think that's the message that plays out in that session.
I agree. Michael, any final thoughts?
Well, I love to, this episode you mentioned is talking about patience. And any of you that have heard us speak, we talk about, I mean, let's be real, patients are one of the biggest risk factors to your practice. But I love with what Jeff has done with medical justice, how he also in the business recognizes the opportunity that comes with that relationship as well. And so it's really fascinating to just hear the evolution through creative thinking and lessons learned of how medical justice looks today, even compared to how it started.
Yeah. And here's the universal take-home message that you can take. Let's assume you take care of 100 patients. 99% of those patients are happy, delighted, evangelical about what you've done for them. 1 out of 100, not so happy. They may hate you, they may be disappointed, but even though you have 99% that are happy, that 1% of patients will occupy 99% of your brain space. And that's where we try to tackle solutions. We try to avoid having that one individual ever exist, but we know that even if they do exist, how can we minimize the headache that you would get from occupying so much brain space?
Absolutely. Well, again, for those who hadn't heard it yet, it's an awesome episode, and please tune in and listen to it. And for those who have heard it, now you get some additional background. But thanks again for joining us in this episode, and we look forward to speaking with you next time.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.